is actually going to cover two different papers. As you'll see in the guidebook and the schedule, how research can help transform the construction industry and strategies to help transform. The two papers have a alphabet soup of the same authors in slightly different orders. And what was noted in the review process was a sort of challenge to the way the industry works and to some of our thinking about it that we thought would be very interesting and should spark some significant discussion. So we tried to put these two together so that we can have that process go forward, and I will turn it over to them. Thank you.
I just messed it up here. How do I go back? This one doesn't go back. This one should go back.
The down arrow.
The down arrow goes back? No.
Is it?
No. I want to go to the first slide.
Here's what we do. Where's the mouse? You have the mouse?
Oh, no.
Where?
No.
Who's got the mouse?
Oh, we use that? How you switch the slide back? Oh yes, now it works. It's slow. Slide 2, slide 1. There you go. Sorry about that. Ladies and gentlemen, as Ken already explained, we have a joint presentation, so don't be nervous when we speak 20 minutes and no sign of warnings going up. So we have double time, but to sort of pay back that privilege of having a joint presentation, we try to finish 5 minutes earlier. And you see the joint word in the two presentations is transform. And of course we all agree that the lean movement is capable to transform the construction industry, but I think we have some challenges and further obstacles ahead before we can reach that, and this is what these two papers are all about. First, see what are the obstacles and what are research topics that can help to overcome them, and then to develop a strategy of research worldwide. And my role here in this presentation is to give an introduction to both papers and to add a few items that are of my personal concern, like the last one. And the core of the papers will be presented by first Dan Ballard and then Margareta Leonova. So what is my introduction? This is very slow. I pressed the button. Okay. In order to find out the spreading of lean in the world, we looked at the Iglc in Boston of last year and allocated the number of authors per country of the world, just to get an indication. How is the spreading of lean in the world? It's not real research, it's just an indication. So we found there's 4 big countries with contributions of authors in the magnitude of 55 to 90. That's US, UK, Brazil, and Norway. That can change from year to year, but it's just an indication. And then there's a middle group with papers between 10 and 50, say, roughly, but it's only 28. A few countries. That's the middle group. And there's the lower group of another some 10 countries who have had only 1 or 2 or 3 papers, or authors in papers. So to which world lead map does that lead? You have the top group is the green countries. I named them already. And there is a middle group, the blue, that includes India, Germany, Finland, and Israel, and Lebanon. I mentioned the 2 because it's a very small blue dot there. And there's the fewer. And what is the most important thing, it's the white areas. It's the grayish-white areas. Out of roughly 200 countries in the world, we have covered 30. And when you look at the map, you might sort of come to the conclusion, oh, it's the developing countries that are missing here. That's not true. If you go into the details, I would like to say something else. A lot of empty spaces, mostly developing countries, question marks. No, even the G20 are missing. 9 countries out of the 20 most influential industrial countries of the world are not on our map. And one more thing, even the more developed countries, like the green ones, in our observation need improvement. There is still in the US a lot of obstacles, wrong paradigms to be fought. So we have a double task. We need to improve our research sort of in the green areas to really make it a breakthrough. And of course we have to try to reach the huge blank spaces. So that's just a slide showing the group of 20. Out of these 20, these 9 are missing. Of course, Japan is a special case. You know, they know about me. But still, it's just for the city. But they don't call it lean, you know, but they know how to do it. So there's some ambiguities here, but the tendency is quite clear, and this is what our papers are about. We need, even in the developed countries, a next level of research, in our opinion. That means be more practical, go out into practical life, and go beyond getting academic credit by sort of one paper in one institute by one person. We think we have to collaborate more in order to, on a worldwide scale, in order to reach the next level and climb this ladder. The special case Brazil. Brazil is, since years, decades, contributing to the Lean IGLC conference in a spectacular way. Carlos, you are one of them. But I know the country very well. They are restricted to building construction, and something like IPD, you know, real IPD with openness and all these things are not happening yet there. You may correct me. That's my observation. So there's still to be done a lot in those green countries as well. Here comes my special contribution. We have here now a world map. There are several world maps of that nature. This is from Transparency International, but there is one from World Bank, from other organizations. They are pretty much the same. And here, the deeper red you are, the more corrupt. So, and when we now put in the lean world map, you find a pretty, with some exceptions, you find pretty good match between the lean white areas, the blank spaces, and the red corruption. And that's not a surprise, is it? You know, IPD, transparency, open books, all these things that we promote in real high-level lean, they are not possible in a corrupt environment. And I have worked in these deep red countries. I know, I was involved. I didn't like it, but I had to comply with the local rules, the local cultures of corruption. So, it's not that I think corruption is the biggest obstacle to lean. I know it. So, there is a topic, you know, and of course we put that forward to you, especially I in my introduction, to you IGLC friends and community, how to deal with that. We can take the stand, well, this is a task too big for us, but then we have to consider the case that we cannot conquer the world. So that's a big question I'm here with putting in front of you, and we might have a chance to discuss that matter in the business meeting, and then decide which of the two paths we should follow. But it's a big thing. Corruption and lean don't mix. And a similar map, look, it's just a different topic. The freedom of the press map. That of course, this is from Reporters Without Borders. that has also to do with transparency politically, society, in the society, you know, and this almost matches one-to-one to the corruption thing, again with a few exceptions. And therefore, I summarize my introduction. We think we need a next level of research, more cooperation to really tackle big problems, not only say the metrics, things like that. That's absolutely important. But we have in the world, we have the big problems, and we should think about it. The decision is open. We should think about it. What is our next level of cooperative, worldwide, coordinated research, spread lean in a more, a more focused manner, and address obstacles that are all around more intensively. I pass now to Dan. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm shorter. Okay. So, boy, Max and PCs are really difficult. Where is it?
The red arrows? Red arrows to move forward. No, this one. But it's slow.
Yep. Only hit it once. Okay. So, what I want to do, there's a lot more detailed suggestions within the paper, right? Paper number 240. But I'd like to just go over some possibilities here. And I'm thinking specifically about how we might direct some of our research towards this issue of removing obstacles to lean transformation. Right? I think one of the first things to do is to really understand, do we understand how to do that transformation? How have industries, cultures, how have they actually changed fundamentally? Right? And is there something we can learn from them to inform our own efforts? And my guess is that, for right now, we're a bit flying blind, is my guess. But hopefully we can identify some specific things. But that would be one of the research topics, is to really understand transformation. Another obstacle, in addition to our lack of knowledge about what we want to do, is what has been called paradigms. That is, fundamental assumptions about the nature of reality that may be so fundamental that most people can't even consider the alternative, right? That they would be untrue. Right? And so here's a few. And what we could do is we could direct research to destroying those paradigms through facts. Right? That may not be effective for everyone, because some people, I mean, as has been shown in the context of scientific history of science, some people have not been able to make a transfer, to shift away from an old to a new paradigm, even when there is evidence. But we can appeal to many who are able to make that shift by providing that evidence, right? So here's one. Trust is for suckers. Widely held belief in the world of construction, right? Is it true? Is it true that if you don't bid it, you pay more? Huh? Is it true that win-win is hogwash? That's a Southern Texas term. That's hogwash. Is it true that the best risk management strategy is shifting risk to someone else? Okay. Is it true that project management does not include management of production? Obviously, we're working on that one, especially Lowry, right? But there are a whole host of such questions, it seems to me, that go to the fundamental presuppositions about the nature of reality that are dominant in our industry. And I don't expect the research community, the lean research community, to shift all of its firepower to these issues, but I would hope that some firepower will be so directed. Right? So let's think of it and see In the area of education, I mean, one of the things that we know from, again, the history of science is that when there's a paradigm shift, say from the geocentric to the heliocentric cosmology, right, that some people never were able to make the shift. But younger people tend to make it easily because they grew up in a different world, right? A world in which that is becoming evident, is accepted as becoming the new paradigm, right? So are we facilitating that shift in our education? Right? To what extent do we have lean incorporated into curricula? To what extent are we, is that, and that would be another map. Right? Are there alternatives outside the traditional educational system that are viable and effective? An internet lean university. And I just heard this morning at breakfast from Luis Alarcon that they're doing some such education and it's working effectively. So he can give his testimony later on. Right? So, and then corruption. I think that in the interest of transparency, it would be helpful if we had clear information about the extent and nature of corruption in the industry, right? And if you think it's only restricted to Botswana or Ghana, probably not Botswana, but Ghana, right, or Nigeria, you're sadly mistaken. Right. It is alive and well in countries that you might not suspect. But that's not well understood, and it's not well understood because it's not very much it's not a popular topic, and it is resisted. And here I think is a very interesting one about methodology, specifically concerning how you fight corruption. Is corruption best fought through increased oversight and regulation, or through open books, aligning interests, and collaborative contracting? Can you really fight corruption by tightening the screws? Or do you simply create different channels for making money off of waste? You can see, I guess you can see my guess about the answer to that one. Okay, so I think that's my part. Margarita? And I will advance the slide.
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Fritz. So today we are having an honor to present on the 25th, at the 25th Iglc conference. But if you think about that, is a generation-long period enough to make a real shift or a change to happen? So reflecting upon our previous conferences and the last conference, it was in Boston, and during all those panel session discussions, we found out that actually we could say that we have achieved only pockets of excellence on the lean line. And to analyze the situation, we could use Rogers' diffusion of innovation curve. And last time we agreed that we are here in the early adopters phase. And in order to reach the early majority state, we have to close the chasm. So, and this is not this like gap. This is not about when we do this, in 5, 10, 25 years, but how we do that. And for our community, we think that we should take real action to do that and take an effort. So we are thinking that in order to reach this next level and to enter this green island of prosperity, we have to do something more, something differently. So some barriers and problems to successful implementation have been addressed and have been discussed in literature, in Iglc literature, and some other places. And the more frequently encountered are lack of adequate lean awareness, variety of ways lean is understood, and cultural and human attitudes. Some of those authors are also emphasized that we have a lack of fundamental lean theory, and we lack of industry and academia collaboration at different levels, and sometimes this teaching approaches and experiences are not really adopted by others. And so we think that some of those problems could be overcome by introducing, creating an integrated lean construction platform. This platform really should unite the interest of all parties, students, researchers, and companies. And really there are a lot of benefits that lean community can gain. And our goal is to create a strong network of with information gathered in one place, and it is easily reachable and accessible, and it is always up to date. And this platform could actually address the missing link between industry and academia collaboration, internationalization, and direction and monitoring of quality of the research that we are doing. But some of the problems can be tackled only by doing this in a more organized and structured way. So in our paper we came up with some elements of an action plan. Of course it's not complete, you all are invited to add something to that, but some of those could be producing fundamental lean theory and core concepts with defined terminology and definitions. Others could be also trying to explore other industries, and for example, Glenn has always did it in last year when he had a paper about construction industry and filmmaking. So what could we learn from other industries? And we have to increase the proceedings in other non-lean conferences and journals so that the world will know about us more. And of course really collaborate in order to achieve this global movement by creating an online lean university or this integrated platform. And but we think that an organizational base should be established to reach those goals, and we think that Iglc at this point could lead the movement, could call other different organizations together, and of course to proceed with issues of research and education. So some of those organizations could be lean construction institutes in different countries. Beam Forum, of course, we have to collaborate with everyone. So, and of course, any stakeholders who are interested should be invited or should participate. So we invite you all to join this force, and if we really want to transform our industry, we should think differently and in more depth. So, well, some questions that we could think about today. So, why are we here today? I mean, what are our main goal? Do we want things to happen differently? Do we want our community to strive and flourish? And I think that the future is only in our hands, and we can influence it. So if we don't do this right now, maybe last time we gathered, we think that this is the train has passed. And of course, to reach the goal, I think we have to have a plan, and of course a dedication to reaching our goals. So thank you very much for your attention.
refuse to believe that there won't be questions or comments after